Welcome to the regular council meeting of Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 at 4:50 PM in council chambers and via Zoom. Item number 1 is call to order in a moment of silence at 4:50. Item number 2, land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the town of Kirkland Lake is located on traditional and unceded territory of Indigenous peoples. We recognize the presence of these Indigenous people in our community since time immemorial and honor their stewardship and care of these lands. We hereby affirm our continued commitment and responsibility to reconciliation. Item number 3, approval of the agenda, moved by Councillor Shaba, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens.
Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting council held on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 be approved as amended to include item 15.1 entitled legal update for discussion in closed session.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 4, declaration of pecuniary interest. Councillor Shaba.
Yeah, I would like to declare pecuniary interest with respect to item number 6.1. I, Nad Shaba, declaring direct pecuniary interest on the agenda of the meeting dated Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Open meeting. Agenda item is 6.1. Agenda title, Kirkland Lake Gold Miners request municipal significant designation status, the fully licensed, the Joe Mavernack Community Complex, and the fee reduction request. It is indirect. I'm a shareholder, director of a private corporation. The nature of my interest is as follows. My engineering firm, Jabotisan Services, was involved in the design of the locker room at the community complex for Florida Electric, which is the owner of the Pale Gold Miners.
Thank you. So noted. Item number 5, civic petitions. There are none this evening. Item number 6, delegations and presentations, moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens.
Be it resolved the delegation entitled Kirkland Lake Gold Miners request for municipal significant designation status to fully licensed Joe Mavernack Community Complex, the arena and fee reduction request be received for information purposes.
Thank you. And we'll now welcome Darcy McKinnon, Executive Director, to the podium to speak. Welcome. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My purpose and intent today is to request a reduction in fee for the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. And we would like to acquire liquor license in the whole arena facility. So to begin, I'd like to talk a little bit about the status of the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners, the history, where it's come from up until we recently acquired it in March 2025. So our goal as new management with the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners is to foster a winning hockey team in our community. We have a strong history, and the community has a lot of involvement with hockey, and the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners have been present for some time, struggling with some challenges in the past. We came in to try to build and develop a hockey program and bring back the competitive hockey nature and culture that we have in our community. So we acquired the team in March of 2025. Some things that we've accomplished and some key features that we've done since that acquisition includes the full renovation of the locker room facility as well as the training room. We've put lighting around the entire facility just for some accent and some additional features for the gold miners. We've increased attendance, just I think with some interest and change in the team. That's almost doubled in attendance, since last year. Those numbers, of course, vary, from game to game. We're close to, we'll review the statistics a little bit more, with the team and the overall progress that we've made in terms of wins and losses, but we're at about 24% of our regular season games, and we've almost attained our win and losses compared to last year. We've recently attained a coach that has some extensive professional experience in the hockey industry, and also has some supporters in professional development for the team. So our request is to eliminate rental fees for 2 years. And we're requesting an ice rental reduction, and as well as rental time, the rental time that we would request at no additional cost. So I can break down what that looks like a little bit more in coming up. But essentially that's what we would like to attain from in the upcoming meetings and months. So going back to the stats and history of the team, comparatively last year in the 24-25 season, they have attained 9 wins. 3 of those wins were from forfeit from one of the teams in Elliott Lake. So we're looking at really 6 wins and 1 overtime win. This season to date, we're at 5 wins and 1 overtime win. So like I said, we're basically on par for what we did all year last year. We hope to keep that going and get some more wins in that column. Just to speak a little bit again about the economical advantages to Kirkland Lake to have the team here. We have 25 players, all of which are from out of town, every single one of them. As well as a coach that has come from out of town. With that, naturally, it brings some income to the community and to the town. Of course, when the kids are here, their family members are drawn to the area. And as well as like some fans in the surrounding communities to draw income to Kirkland Lake. So of course, naturally, they'll be eating out at restaurants, staying in the hotel rooms, and shopping at our local businesses. So statistically, each player pays billet fees to their billet, which is in the amount of, which can vary, and we look at increasing, but each player brings in a revenue, just the player, of $10,000 to the community. So that's based on their billet fees that they pay directly to their billet. They are in turn naturally shopping locally, and then as well as their additional costs that they would spend on day-to-day items and so on and so forth. So just as a standpoint, I'd say for the community, the town is acquiring about, a very minimum $250,000 from just simply these players coming into town. To look at some comparison to other communities, unfortunately, I wasn't able to obtain a lot of data, but in comparison to Hearst, so it's a smaller community, a little bit smaller in population, but they pay $25,000 to $30,000 annually for their fees. That includes all of their ice time, which they have priority with whatever ice time they choose to have, and they coordinate with minor hockey naturally. And then their players have access to any available ice time at no additional cost. The club has access to all of their advertising controls, and that income comes to them with their flat rate fee. And with that, they get their office space, their change room, and all of the ice surface, all like the ice rental fees, sorry. Boston Voodoo is similar, smaller community. more access, but they have a 5-year contract and they pay 3% increase annually. Their non-prime rental ice fee is $85 an hour. Their prime rental ice fee is $169 an hour. Just included some information there on the times. All advertising is included, so they don't pay with their ice rental fee. They don't pay any additional costs for their change room. Or office spaces, their training room. And they don't pay additional fees for their advertising. So, following that, I have a breakdown of, what our fees, are, currently. So our non-prime ice rental fee is $97.82 per hour. Our prime rental fee is $122.28 an hour. Game time ice would be our prime time naturally on the weekend or Friday evenings. We have a fee for a second operator at the game to facilitate the additional into people crowd in the ring. Our annual dressing room fee is about $4,700. The coach's office area is at a per square foot rental basis, all at about $1,100. The trainer's room at about $1,700. And then our advertising fee at $64.95. So using September as an example of our rental fees, just as an average, our approximate total cost over a year paying $58,430. So significantly more than our competitors in the league, and a significant cost to the team. The team's operating cost is between $450,000 to about $550,000 a year, a lot of which comes from sponsors and naturally a portion of the fee comes from the players, and so on and so forth, and advertising, of course. So just, breaking down costs, naturally, we're paying, like I said, significantly more than some of all of the other teams really in our league. This year, there was an added fee of $150 for the rental of the ticket booth. Of $150, so naturally I asked that with our fee reduction, that be included as well. That's just something new that I want to highlight that has been added to our fees this year. I'll just speak quickly about our dressing room renovation. So there's a significant amount of funds and effort put into the dressing room. The cost was extensive, and with that, the intent of the dressing room renovation was to acquire talented players. We've been told from the community and from incoming players, parents and staff that we have a very professional facility, even as nice as like some OHL dressing rooms. So that's something to be proud of, and I think something that we can obviously build off of the years to come. With the request, there are often ice times throughout the day that are not used, or ice that's available. Something that I'd like to do for the players is to, if there is ice time available up to 30 minutes before, if they can use the ice at no cost, for them to be able to, naturally develop themselves and their skills and so on and so forth. And there's minimal, I would presume, costs to the facility because the workers are already there, and it's part of their regular duties. It may take away from other items in their scheduled day, but that's something that we can manage and offer to the players as our competitors do. Lastly, I just want to address the liquor license. So the proposal is to have a license for the whole facility. So this isn't something that's ever been done previously in the past, so there have been instances where the Blue Line Room has been licensed and or a sectioned off area in the facility to serve alcohol. The feedback and the general consensus about just the Blue Line Room is that you don't have access to like the game and you can't hear it, and people like to be out and about, and naturally their children can't go into that area, so it limits it limits the people that are going in there, and really this service is not maximized to its ability. One item that is in the SOP is that, or the bylaw that's required to have the whole licensed facility, is that there is a security guard at each entrance and exit. So from what I calculated very quickly, there's about 10 entrances and exits in the whole arena. So that's just not something that like we would be able to accommodate, not something other facilities do, so they have, you know, Hearst has they have their whole arena licensed, and they have 2 to 4 security staff, which the town provides to them as part of their agreement at no cost. So for that, I would propose that we have a security guard at each area of the rink, so somebody in the back and at the main entrance and exit and the side. So, you know, 3 to 4 security or staff in the facility. Sorry, in that, naturally, would ensure that we're in compliance with all GCO regulations, as well as adhere to the municipality bylaws, with the exception of this specific item that would require some discussion. And the proposal would be to have the liquor sold at the like visitors end of the building, if you're familiar with the facility where Lee O'Reilly's like at the back end. Just because that would be kind of out of the way, wouldn't block traffic, and would probably be the safest location to have alcohol use. The proposal would be from December 1st, so that we could be in order. Again, have all the licensing in order and be adequate and appropriate approvals from council until the end of the season, which can vary from March 15th is the regular season, and then if it goes on into the playoffs and so on and so forth, that would extend. And that's about it for now. That was long-winded, but
You did very well. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Any questions or comments of clarification from council members? Counselor Dykens?
To you, Madam Mayor, to Darcy. Can you remind us what the organizational start, like, are you incorporated, nonprofit?
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, so last year, so the structure of the organization was not for profit. So since our acquisition, it is incorporated.
It's incorporated?
Mhm. Yeah, so note maybe some relief too, as a non-for-profit corporation last year. Because it was a not-for-profit corporation, the organization was able to apply for and has been successful in many years at attaining the $5,000 grant, which they always use towards their rental fees as a reduction. As a corporation, we're not eligible for that, so it's just additional fees that the team incurs, which is difficult.
Thank you. Counselor Owen?
Yeah, through you, your worship, for 30 years I was involved with minor hockey, providing programs for Kirkland Lake youth. More recently, I'm back at the arena with my grandchildren. And there's a lot of single parents out there that are struggling to put their kids on. It's extremely expensive to play minor hockey. So if I was to give a break in prices, I would rather see tax money used to support the young people that live in our community whose parents can't afford to pay than an elite organization of a team that's made up from people out of town. As for licensing the whole arena area, I can remember when you used to be able to smoke in the arena. In fact, I did. But that's carcinogenic, and so is alcohol. Canadian Cancer Society has recently come out and linked it to a number of cancers. That facility there is to promote health and well-being. And the drinking of alcohol is not promoting health and well-being. So, and there will be additional cleanup costs as well. So I think we should stick to what that facility was made for. And that is to promote health and well-being of all. Thank you.
Anything further from members of council? Councillor Owens?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, rest of council. With all due respect, I take offense at the word elite. I think it's condescending to the work the team does. It's condescending to the people in our community that are involved with the club. It's condescending to the sponsors that are local that support this club. So I apologize for that, because I don't, it irks me, and I think it was wrong to use the word elite and speak into this club. As for the alcohol, I'd like to be able to make my own decision. I'd like the government to be able to butt out and tell me what I can and can do. If it causes cancer, yes, I'm still gonna enjoy my glass around that phone. Am I gonna buy at the hockey club or the arena? I'm not sure, that's not why I go there, but I'd like to be able to make my own decision on it. As for the reductions, I think for this year that it'd be too late to even entertain that, well, for this fiscal year, but that's something that I wouldn't even know how to start that process. It has to come.
Thank you for those comments and point of clarification. We do appreciate your time. Thank you for coming down to delegate to us today. We certainly appreciate what the club does for the community, and we will take this presentation under advisement. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Can we call Councillor Shabbat? Item number 7, approval and acceptance of minutes, 7.1, council minutes moved by Councillor Owen, seconded by Councillor Shaba.
Be it resolved, the council approve the minutes of the following meetings, minutes of the regular meeting of council held October 21st, 2025, and minutes of the special meeting of council held October 2025.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 7.2, local and regional board minutes moved by Councillor Casey Owens and seconded by Councillor Rick Owen.
Be it resolved that council receive the minutes of the following meetings, minutes of the Kirkland Lake Public Library Board held September 18th, 2025, minutes of the District of Timiskaming Social Services Administration Board of Directors held September 17th, 2025, and minutes of the Northeastern Public Health Board of Health held September 25th, 2025.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 8, reports of municipal officers and staff. There are none this evening. Item number 9, members' motion. I just want to note, there was a little bit of confusion, and it will be Councillor Rick Owen that seconds both the following motions. Item 9.1, members' motions. Councillor Casey Owens, snow removal operations in school zones for 2025-2026 snow season. The seconder is, as I stated, Rick Owen. Madam Clerk? I'll call you mayor all the time.
Excuse me, Moved by Counselor Casey Owen, seconded by Counselor Rick Owen. Whereas school zones are high traffic areas for children, parents, school staff, and crossing guards during morning drop off and afternoon pickup times. And whereas safe and accessible routes to and from school are essential for the safety and well-being of students, particularly during winter months when snow and ice accumulation pose serious hazards. And whereas delays in snow removal in school zones can result in dangerous conditions, obstructed sidewalks and crosswalks, and increased risk for pedestrians and drivers alike. Therefore, be it resolved, the council direct administration to modify the snow removal priority list in the upcoming 2025-2026 winter maintenance plan to include all designated school zones as high priority areas, and that snow removal operations in school zones be scheduled to occur prior to the start of the school day wherever operationally feasible, and that a report be presented to council with recommendations on how to implement this change for the upcoming winter season, including any required budget considerations, operational impacts, and community consultation.
Counselor Owens, you may speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through you to the rest of council. This stems from years of sending emails, taking pictures and complaining about it. And from the open house we had a few weeks back where it was mentioned by a resident that school zones are getting particularly challenging to navigate in the winter months. More and more parents seem to want to pick up their kids after school. It's a race for prime parking. I see it as early as 20 minutes before last bell to get that prime first spot by the exit of the school. So God forbid the kids got to work walk more than 2 steps to get to the vehicle. So there's a bunch of vehicles packed in front of the schools and it becomes hard to navigate. Add snow in the winter, it becomes even more difficult to navigate. And even though some of these school zones have no parking zones across from them, it's nearly impossible for staff to be everywhere at the same time. Parents choose to ignore the signs. And so I think this is the better way to approach it, or one way I think it's worth the try to treat school zones as a priority zone as downtown would be in any other circumstance.
Thank you for that. Counselor Owen, as seconder, you may speak to the matter.
Sure. Yes, through you, your worship. The previous council on this county have worked hard to make Kirkland Lake an attractive place for people to live. One way this is taking place is by making the town a safer place to live. Safety is the key to a community's health and attractiveness. These measures that are being proposed will, in fact, make congested areas with blind spots around schools a much safer place for both parents, for parents, children, and motorists. And that's why I'm supporting the motion.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from members of council? Counselor Dykens?
To you, Madam Mayor, I support this fully. I lived in front of a school where the crosswalk was, and it was a disaster zone when parents were coming to pick up kids and deliveries were being made, and sidewalks, like there was just too much going on. So I think this would begin to make it a safer area in schools areas.
Thank you for that. Anything further? Just for my part, I do want to note that this year we are also doing an operational review of winter road maintenance. And as part of that, I do think it's important this piece be included to understand fully how our corporation takes care of change management. This is something that is going to drastically change operations this year. And I do want to note that, yes, this has been something that has been remarked upon for several years dating back to prior term. And so to make it official, these requests at this time, I think will play into that operational review. to see how we as a corporation handle that change management. So I too am in support of this. All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 9.2, again, Councillor Casey Owens, prohibition of heavy equipment during school peak times in school zones for 2025-2026 snow removal season, and it is seconded by Councillor Rick Owen. Madam Clerk, you may read the motion.
Whereas the safety of students traveling to and from school is a priority for the town of Kirkland Lake. And whereas heavy snow removal equipment operating near school during peak student travel times poses significant safety risk to children walking, biking, or being dropped off and picked up. And whereas the presence of snowplows and other equipment in school zones during these critical times can reduce visibility, increase traffic congestion, and endanger pedestrians. Therefore, be it resolved, the council direct administration to include the following regulatory measures in the town annual winter maintenance plan moving forward. 1, the prohibition of snow removal operations in designated school zones during peak student travel times, specifically 1 hour before and 1 hour after the start and end times of a school day, including the Second Street crosswalk intersection area, Churchill Drive, Second Street, Station Road. And 2, exceptions be made only in cases of emergency or where safety would be significantly compromised by dealing with snow removal, with both scenarios to be determined by the Director of Public Works in consultation with the Chief Administrative Officer. And 5, that a report be presented to council with recommendations on how to implement and communicate the service delivery change effectively, including the coordination with local school boards and transportation services.
Thank you. Councillor Casey Owens, you may speak to the motion.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor, members of council. This one again stems from that same reasoning. So the meeting we had a few weeks ago and the observation from my own classroom in the morning. I cringe in the winter when I see snow removal operations being done at, and I'm being specific here for this intersection, because that's the one I see from my classroom, so I don't know if it's that way for other crosswalks in town, but this is the one that jumped out to me, seeing trucks going by, the lights flashing on the crosswalk, kids trying to go through between vehicles, and thinking, no, this can't happen. And if the common sense approach can't stop it from happening, then we need a policy to make sure that it doesn't happen, and then that vehicles are not in those areas when kids are going or walking to school. So it's, yeah, that's it.
Thank you for that. Councillor Owens, as seconder, you may speak to the matter.
Yes, through you, your worship. Again, I'm in full agreement with Councillor Casey Owens. To young children, heavy equipment is fascinating. It draws young children like a magnet. So if we can reschedule and reduce this, it will make school zones safer and will fit in with our overall policy of making the entire town safer. Thank you.
Any comments or questions from members of council? Nothing noted. All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Item number 10, readings and considerations of bylaws. There are none this evening. Item number 11, notices of motion. Councillor Dykens.
A financial reporting to council.
Sorry, so noted. Anything further? No, okay. Item number 12, council reports and committees of council and local regional board updates, moved by Councillor Shabba, seconded by Councillor Dykens. And do any members of council have anything to report about their duties as council members? Councillor Owen.
Yeah, through you, your worship. I attended the TMA meeting with the mayor. But in the favor of keeping meetings short, I will let her report on what happened. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from members of council? Councillor Shabba.
Yeah, a few days ago, I had a meeting with the detachment commander. Right here in the this boardroom. Respect to a survey about community policing. Oh, we had an interesting conversation. And I gave her a list of what I would like to see as an individual regarding safety of our citizens. So I'm gonna give a copy of that to the CEO for equity.
Thank you. Anything further? Counselor Owens?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I wasn't gonna do this one, but I need to get it off my chest. For all the positive in this municipality, when we think of the mining industry, like this is a glorious time to be a mining town. Kirkland Lake's the place to be. There's investment coming in, there's development happening. We can't forget that a lot of what we see today in safety advancements in the mines and making these operations safer for the men and women that go underground every day. A lot of men and one woman lost their lives going underground. And for individuals with a history to this community, for us, it's something. I don't know how to say, but like it's something most families that are associated with the mining know. And that it's important to remember that these sacrifices were made. And it's not always a guarantee when the people go underground that they're gonna come out at the end of the shift.
Thank you for that. Anything further from members of council? For my part, I do want to thank Director Labrador and Planning Administrator Jenna McNaughton for representing our community at the 2025 Toronto International Snowmobile, ATV and Power Sports Show to showcase what makes Kirkland Lake a premier destination for snowmobiling, adventure tourism and year-round recreation. The event draws thousands of visitors from across Ontario whom are looking for their next great trail adventure. Director Labrador spoke at the 2025 Ontario Tourism Summit in Ottawa on the 28th. I cannot express how noteworthy it is to have a Kirkland Lake staff member highlighted in this way and how important it is to have the Kirkland Lake name represented in these rooms. This is one piece of how the Development and Enterprise Services Department will grow our community over the next several years. And I am thrilled to have staff that understand the importance of these events after so many years of not being in those rooms. There was a bonfire for Planet Youth, which was well attended with about 25 kids and many adult volunteers, despite competing with the Gold Miners hockey and the Toronto Blue Jays. I cannot express how important community buy-in is for this initiative if we wish to decrease substance use in our youth. I spent the evening of October 27th with Agnico Eagle board members and local leadership while they were in Kirkland Lake to visit the local mining sites, including Upper Beaver and Macassa. Time and time again, Agnico Eagle exemplifies being a good community partner, not just by their words, but also their actions. The Temiskaming Municipal Association was October 30th. Pauline Rochefort, MP from Nipissing, Temiskaming, asked that any public comments regarding Canada Post be brought forward to the MPs, ours being Gaetan Millette. We also received a presentation regarding the July 2026 deadline for mandated training from Jared Weisner of the Office of the Fire Marshal. And I did ask for any interested members to reach out to me regarding joint delegations surrounding outside agencies and their impact on municipal budgets. I will bring that motion to our next meeting in January. During the Now Association, several areas of interest were discussed, including the Staying Isn't Choosing initiative from Timmins, which focuses on domestic violence. Also, the Elect Respect Pledge, which includes modeling integrity and respect in public life, holding yourself to the highest standards of conduct, and voting for other leaders who will model integrity and respect in public life. and holding others to the highest standards of conduct. This can be found at electrespect.ca and recognizing, and lastly, I wanted to recognize the accomplished of fellow mayor Melanie Pilon of Wawa, who was chosen to give a keynote address for Canada's Rural and Remote Broadband Community Conference in Kelowna, BC. I had my first budget meetings with CAO, Director of Corporate Services, Treasurers, and the Directors of TPR, Fire, Community Services, and Public Works. For those who were with us last term, these meetings were the same as what members that were available at the Finance Committee's last term, how we sat and went line for line. That is the same nature of what I'm doing with all these directors. During these discussions, some further savings were discovered, either through moving line items, transferring to or from capital budgets, or removing items entirely, and the process continues. The second mayor chair interview with CTV to share good news. Stories coming out of Kirkland Lake also occurred, which can be viewed online now. And I do want to share the Kirkland Lake connection to the World Series. Our own Tim Langdon, who began his career at CJKL during high school, has been the public address announcer for the Toronto Blue Jays since 2005. Like many in our community, we were all on the edge of our seats throughout the series, and in recognition of his part, the town has sent Mr. Langdon a small token of recognition. And lastly, I do want to share some good news coming out of the Gorilla Dojo, who marked their first tournament for their official competition team, with Colin and Andy bringing home gold, Faith bringing home silver, and Jason Sadie bringing home bronze. I want to sincerely congratulate the coaches, family, and competitors on their first showings and wish them continued success. You all make Kirkland Lake very proud. Thank you. All in favor? Oh, you haven't read the motion.
Be it resolved that the verbal updates from members of council be received.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 13, proclamations and recognitions. There are none this evening. Item number 14, additional information and mayor's provincial policy matters. There are also none. Item number 15 will be closed session. At this time, we will take a quick 5-minute recess in between moving into closed. And welcome back. We will reconvene and then move into closed. Yep, moved by Councillor Dyken, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen.
It resolved that council adjourn in camera pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal and local board employees, labor relations or employee negotiations, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, the security of the property of the municipality or local board, and a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board at 5:38 PM for the following reasons. Item 15.1, legal update. Item 15.2, supplemental direction and delegation of authority for collective bargaining with QP Local 26. And item 15.3, supplemental memorandum with Kirkland Lake Public Library Board.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Thank you. And we will now reconvene in open session at 6:43, moved by Councillor Owen, seconded by Councillor Owens.
It resolved that council reconvene in open session at 6:43 PM.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 16, recommendations for matters in closed session. Any matters of pecuniary interest rising before we continue? No matters of pecuniary interest. 16.1, supplemental memorandum of understanding with the Kirkland Lake Public Library Board. This will be. Do you have speaking notes? Okay, so Madam Clerk, can you read the motion? Oh, sorry, moved by Counselor Dyken, seconded by Counselor Casey Owens.
Be it resolved that for board report number 2025 COBR 6 entitled supplemental memorandum of understanding. Personally, public library board be received, and that council approve the memorandum of understanding between the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake and the Kirkland Lake Public Library Board as presented. And that council authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to execute the memorandum of understanding and any related amendments proposed in favor of the town without detrimental impact in the form satisfactory to the chief administrative officer. And finally, that the corresponding execution bylaw be brought forward for 3 readings on November 4th, 2025, in accordance with subsection 22I B of the town's notice policy.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted, item carried unanimous. 16.2, bylaw number 25-074, executing MOU for shared services with KLPLB, moved by Counselor Rick Owen, seconded by Counselor Casey Owens.
Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read first and second time, bylaw number 2574, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the corporation of town of Kirkland Lake and the Kirkland Lake Public Library Board.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Third reading, moved by Counselor Dykens, seconded by Counselor Rick Owen.
Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read a third time and numbered, passed, signed, and sealed, bylaw number 2574.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 17, notices of reconsideration. Any counselor at this table wish to have any matter decided in this meeting reconsidered? None noted. Item number 18, confirmation bylaw 18.1, bylaw number 25-075, confirming proceedings, moved by Counselor Dykens, seconded by Counselor Shava.
Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read first, second, and third time, numbered, passed, signed, and sealed, bylaw number 2575, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its regular meeting held Tuesday, November 4th, 2025.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried. Item number 19, adjournment. I so move. Seconded by Counselor Dykens. You.